I be smooching on people, but don't give me herpes.
Am I, Crim, the for wanting my daughter's boyfriend, soon to be fiance, to know her dark secret before marriage? I'm the dad of a 25-year-old young woman who I love very much. I've been able to have a good relationship with my daughter, and I enjoy my time with her. But there's one thing about her that would give many people pause. She is a diagnosed sociopath. She exhibited odd, disturbing behavior at a young age, and after a serious incident of abuse towards her younger sister, I realized she needed professional help. Throughout her elementary years, she struggled heavily, getting in lots of trouble in school for lying, cruelty, and all sorts of other misbehaviors. With an enormous amount of therapy and support, her bad behavior was minimized as she grew older. She received an ASPD, antisocial personality disorder diagnosis at 18, and I had suspected it for long prior. After her aggressive behavior was tamed, her following years were much more fruitful. She's law-abiding, she has a decent job and a good education, and has many good friendships and admirers, especially male admirers. She's very, very charming and adept at attracting guys and maintaining their interest. She uses that old dating guide, The Rules, like a Bible. She currently has a boyfriend of about a year and a half who's crazy about her and who I have a very strong relationship with. We live in the same area, spend time together regularly. He's a great guy, very kind, funny, and intelligent. But I doubt she loves him. We've had some very honest, in-depth discussions about her mental health since her diagnosis, and she's been open with me that she doesn't feel love or empathy towards anyone, even family. When she acted very sad and broken up over the death of one of her closest friends at the funeral, she confessed to me privately that it was all a put-on, and that she felt pretty neutral about the whole thing. She has also stated she has never once felt guilty about anything she's ever done, and doesn't know what guilt feels like. While she enjoys being around her boyfriend and is sexually attracted to him, I highly doubt she feels much of anything towards him love-wise. Her boyfriend, who might propose soon, has no idea about her diagnosis, and she's been very upfront with me that she has no plans to ever tell him, thinking it'll scare him away. I've made it clear to her that she needs to tell him the truth before they marry, that he has a right to know and consider it, or I will. To which she always responds, I know you wouldn't dare. I actually would. I really like and respect this young man, and would feel awful keeping this secret from him, and letting him walk into a marriage without this piece of knowledge. I'm not trying to sabotage my daughter's future. Maybe her boyfriend's love of her personality and other aspects is enough that it won't end the relationship. It's his decision to make, but he deserves all the facts. Someday he's bound to find out she's a bit off. It can't be kept a secret forever. Am I the asshole? I think we're gonna both divert from the popular opinion here.
Yeah. I'm sorry. The thing about personality disorders is like, it's your person. You would already know. Like, I don't.
Well, if she is actually diagnosed correctly, he probably wouldn't know. Because somebody who actually is a sociopath, like, we know that one very famous person who ran all of the things here on Twitch for a while, they were almost certainly. And everybody thinks that they're
I don't think
normal, likable people. Really?
Yeah. I think they're more of a narcissist.
I think it's both. I mean, they're clearly a narcissist. I don't think so. But
yeah. Well, I think that they... yeah. That's something else. But, like, being a sociopath, like, if she's been through the proper therapy and she knows how to treat someone and she's treating him well, I don't think it's an issue. I think that if she was abusing the boyfriend, it wouldn't even be a matter of, oh, she's a sociopath. It would be a matter of, oh, my daughter is abusing her fiance and I don't know what to do about it. You know what I mean? But when it comes to just, like, it doesn't really matter. And maybe I'm just biased because, I mean, I've dated a sociopath. like a diagnosed sociopath, and he was a wonderful person. Like,
well, I mean, it depends on how you grade it, I guess, but I would grade it as wonderful person because I think actions are the only thing that matters.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I also loved it because they didn't just assume how I felt about things. They asked me how I felt about
Okay.
things. And they made sure I was comfortable in situations, whereas other people just did not ever care.
Okay.
Ever in any way.
Are you sure
maybe
that they
it's
were
different.
a sociopath and not autistic?
They were diagnosed as a sociopath. They might have been
Yeah.
misdiagnosed.
Because
but
that was
they had
what
been in
I
therapy
thought
for
of
years.
myself for the first
Right.
30 years or so. Because I could tell that I didn't feel things the way that everybody else did. But I didn't follow any of the diagnostic criteria. I don't do it to manipulate. It's not about me. I'm always so worried about other people. But I do also want to point out that antisocial personality disorder, BPD, sociopathy of all flavors, those are common misdiagnoses for autism. But if he's representing this accurately, it does sound like they got her right. Because not having feelings towards other humans or animals is kind of the biggest defining feature.
It is pretty uncommon to not feel any sort of love for your family, though, even with sociopathy.
Okay.
So it makes me wonder if she just doesn't have the language to describe that,
Yeah.
you know? But, like, even if someone doesn't feel, like, the emotion love, it doesn't mean that they can't be a good partner or, like, a good life person. And it doesn't mean that you don't care about them very much.
As an aromantic individual, I agree. I would put this in the same category as any other things in your past that aren't true anymore. STDs, fucking hysterectomy, prior, I don't know, what's an incredibly
I think it's
catching
important to
disease?
What do you mean?
I don't know, I'm just trying to think of an example.
Something that's, like, highly contagious?
Chicken pox.
I wouldn't put this in the realm of, like, she had chicken pox
Okay.
one time. I also think that you would need to tell your partner that you've had a hysterectomy.
Okay.
If you are planning to have children with this
yeah.
life partner, or that's ever on the table, you need to tell them that you've
I agree
like,
that
I only say that
she
because
should tell him, but I don't think that somebody should override her decision not to.
No, I don't think it's manipulative to not say
Right.
that either, because there are a lot of cases where that would make it very dangerous for her, and where he could then start abusing her, being like, oh, well,
Yeah.
your feelings aren't valid, like, you can't do this, you're a sociopath, like, you need to, like, you need to check yourself and do what I tell you, you know? So I feel like it could be very much used as leverage over her.
Also, look,
in a lot of situations.
any of you who are disagreeing with us, how many things do you not tell somebody that you've started dating?
Right. But yeah, I think this dude's totally an asshole.
Yes, agreed. This guy is an asshole.
Also, I don't like that he's framing it as like she's hiding this from her fiance, where it just, I don't...
Yeah. She's been through therapy. She has years of history of being past it. It is not your place to disclose somebody else's medical status unless it's going to harm somebody. Like, I
Right.
would...
Like, if you think that she's being abusive to her boyfriend, then that's a conversation that you need to have with
Right.
somebody, including her. But if it's just like, they're gonna get married and he doesn't know that she's a sociopath.
Yeah,
like, that's...
This feels like it is coming back to an infantilization of her, probably due to a combination of misogyny and ableism.
Yeah. It makes me think that her father doesn't like her very much either.
He didn't talk very much about her in this, did he?
No. He's like, oh, I like her boyfriend, but I feel like he doesn't like her.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like otherwise they would, like, have these conversations, and it would be like, oh, she feels this way about him, but, like, it's very much like, oh, she's a sociopath, and, like, I don't want this guy to get with it. Because, like, people call women sociopaths and, like, crazy all the time. Like,
Yeah.
what does he think that she's gonna do to him? Like, is this a justified fear, or is it just because she's been diagnosed as a sociopath?
Well,
Or with a ASPD or whatever.
I would...
The fact that he said she was diagnosed with ASPD and then went on to call it sociopathy also has me confused.
Yeah, he said the other way, but I agree.
Oh, okay.
It makes me wonder. Because
which was she diagnosed with? And, like, how long ago? And, like, is she also still in therapy? Like, she's probably still in therapy.
I would assume so. I don't know.
So she's still in therapy.
But yeah, there are cases where disclosing somebody's medical information is appropriate, but you have to be close to the immediate harm level for it to be correct.
Yeah. I think that, like, only if it's communicable.
Yeah.
In which case, like, kind of maybe disclose chickenpox. I end up disclosing my chickenpox because I like to make this joke. And I tell people that I have herpes. And then they're like, what? And I say herpes zoster. And they're like, what? And I'm like, chickenpox. And they're like, what? And I'm like, I've had chickenpox before. It lives in you forever. And I might get shingles one day. And they're like, oh my God, don't lead with you have herpes. But, like, I think it's funny. So I make that joke. I also like to have people disclose to me if they've ever had a cold sore.
Yeah,
And I think that most people lie to me about
that. Isn't it like something like 2/3 to 80% of Americans?
Yeah.
And
most people tell me, no, I've never had one. And I don't believe them. I've never had one. And my sister didn't get them until she was in high school. So I know that I don't have them. Like, I don't share food like that. I don't share drinks like that. I be smooching on people, but don't give me fucking herpes.
I used to get them semi-frequently in high school-ish, but I haven't had them since leaving home, and I think that I had the rare instance of just having the dietary kind. Because they keep repeating, right?
Dietary?
Yeah, I think it's vitamin C or D deficiency can cause them.
It could make them, like, more prevalent.
Okay.
But it's herpes is an infection of your nerves. So it infects those cells and it's there forever.
Okay.
That's why once you get chickenpox, it's there forever and you might just get shingles one day. When you get immunocompromised or you get too stressed or you get, like, all that stuff. So, like, that's why, like, seeing shingles in kids is a pretty big indicator of being immunocompromised, because it just, like, yeah, it's like that. So if you've ever had a cold sore, you do have them. But, like, they could have also not been cold sores and been some other kind of sore, but most likely they were cold sores.
Yeah. Why have you had chickenpox?
I got vaccinated, but I just...
You just got it. You got the horrible dye roll. Okay. Yeah, because I come from the era very mild, before the vaccine. So just everyone, like, back in the 70s and 80s, I
was the only person I know that got chickenpox. Even my sister didn't get it.
Like...
And my sister was the one who always got me sick. But her vaccine worked and mine didn't. Continue.
Yeah, no, it's just there used to be chickenpox parties.
Yes, my neighbor tried to have one with me when I had chickenpox. And my mom said no.
Right. If the vaccine exists, there's no reason to have them. But my understanding is, and I could have been given bad medical information on this, but the younger you have them, usually the easier the chickenpox are to deal with. And so catching them early was the only way to... It was the healthy way to deal with it, because you were almost certainly going to catch them at some point anyway before the vaccine. So...
Right.
I
can't remember if that's true or if that's just a myth. I think it's just more of a bitch to deal with when you're an adult, but I don't think it's inherently more dangerous.
Okay. I always heard that it was way worse, but I've never looked into it myself. I just know that there were parents having COVID parties, which is a very different kind of disease that we know nothing about.
So disturbing to me.
We had chickenpox for centuries. Disturbing. We knew the disease.
Right. Well, and, like, it's a disease that you get once and then never again because it lives in you forever. Like, you cannot get chickenpox again because it's in you forever. I will forever have chickenpox. But, like, COVID, you can get that so many times. Like, that's like having influenza parties. Like, are you Even influenza has a better, like a higher rate of antibody production, because like once you get one version of the flu, you're less likely to get other versions of the flu. COVID is so immune evasive that it's like it doesn't matter, and new things are popping out. It's terrifying. But like people only think about these diseases in terms of like chickenpox.
Yeah.
They only think about like chickenpox, and no one even thinks about mumps or measles or rubella or diphtheria.